Hey people, and welcome again to Daily Dope. In this video, I am going to share some of the best moments from Season 6 of Buzzfeed Unsolved True Crime. I know there has been a large gap since the last video, but there were some unavoidable circumstances. I am sorry for that. I am going to continue this series, so if you want to join me on this journey, you can always do so by subscribing to this channel. And with that said, let's get to the video.
Poe attempted to seek out his father's relatives in Baltimore, where he was promptly robbed by one of his cousins.
Bad cousin. That's rough.
This guy is being followed by a dark cloud.
Yeah.
It just seems like.
What do you do when life throws curveballs at you?
I don't know, have a nice cry.
You film a gaunt season of BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural.
I have a nice
is what
cry.
I regard.
I make BuzzFeed Unsolved, that's what I do.
Round. In addition to his newfound career traction, Poe had fallen in love with a girl named Virginia. Grossly, Virginia was his cousin. Even grosslier, Virginia was half his age. Despite these circumstances, Poe and Virginia married in Richmond in 1835 when Poe was 27 and Virginia was 13.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Can't be doing that.
You know, obviously, but it is a thing of the times.
You can't be doing that.
I mean, you see what I'm saying, though, right?
It's very easy to condemn from our vantage point in history, and so we do condemn wholeheartedly.
5 years later, in 1845, the New York Mirror published Poe's poem, The Raven, which catapulted him to national acclaim.
5 years later?
5 years later.
Rough.
That's 5 years.
5 years ago, we started working at Buzzfeed.
I know. Imagine, or even 5 years later, imagine all we have to show for it is your video dogs watching TV for the first time.
It's a classic.
A copy of it, an MPEG.
It's a classic. I don't know why that is glued to every internet biography of me.
Because it's a masterpiece.
It's always like, Shane Madej, a producer of Dogs Watch Television for the first time. It is a good video, for the record. Because those dogs do watch TV.
And that's all you have is that MOV file for 5 years. That's all you have to show for it. No money.
Not bad.
Just a copy of the video.
A cat comes on screen and they're like...
Poe was found by an employee of the Baltimore Sun, Joseph W. Walker, delirious, immobile, and dressed in shabby clothing. Poe was discovered in a gutter outside of a public house that was being used as a polling place.
What do you think about polls being in bars? Do you think that helps voter turnout?
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
It is, right? I thought that was a pretty good idea, too.
It's pretty good. You gotta get the kids out there. Oh my God, register to vote.
This is a good time to say that.
Right now?
We can do that right now.
Look, be registered to vote. Talk to your friends about registering to vote. Scream at them.
And celebrate with a nice brewski.
Yeah,
if you're of age.
if you're
over 21. Yeah.
It's a Poe essay.
He's a brother-in-law.
No, I wouldn't. He's a weird dour man. I would not beat him to death.
I can't even imagine you throwing a punch.
No, me neither. If I'm ever gonna throw a punch.
I could only imagine you like backhanding somebody.
No.
like a lord.
It would be mid-conversation, and I'd maybe set it up a little bit. Like there's a great line from the OC where Ryan,
yes,
the main character who's like from the rough and tumble parts of,
yeah.
He says, you know what I like about rich kids? And the rich kid says, he's like, huh? He goes, nothing. And he walks away. That's what I do, baby. But I might kiss my fist first. I might be like, you know?
So your only fight that you've ever imagined is you sucker punching somebody?
Yeah, I'm a sucker puncher, all right. I'm a coward, baby.
This took a turn.
I would punch and I'd run.
Happening?
I'd run real fast.
Oh my God, I got you.
Then I'd get on a train and I'd move to a different city and I'd change my name.
Not Todd's only pursuit. In 1934, Todd opened the successful restaurant, Thelma Todd's Sidewalk Cafe, on the Pacific Coast Highway. Her business partners in the venture were director and producer Roland West, with whom Todd had been having an on-again, off-again affair for the past 3 years, and silent film actress Jewel Carmen, who was also Roland West's wife.
They had a little love triangle.
Oh, saucy.
And then they thought, let's open up a restaurant.
I smell a sitcom.
Regardless of what they were doing, they were free loving.
Business, pleasure. You know, mix them together. Why not?
I would like to see you never mix those together ever again.
I mean, that's what they were doing.
That's what they could do. That's what you should never do in front of me.
You imagine going to that restaurant and be like, I'd like a cheeseburger. And they'd be like, we'll get that to you in a sec after we finish doing it.
Just wiping sweat off their brow.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, a little extra sauce on this one for you.
at the murder of Marilyn Sheppard, a homicide case that broke a quiet suburban town wide open and became the basis for a major Hollywood blockbuster.
Jurassic Park? That's stupid. I don't know.
Dr. Samuel Sheppard and Marilyn Reese were married and settled near Lake Erie, Ohio. 2 years later, they had their first and only child, affectionately nicknamed Chip.
Revolutionary Road.
Oh yes, your guess. 2 sentences in, huh?
Yeah.
Does anybody even die in that film?
Maybe. I don't remember.
You just
Maybe
named a
people get
movie
married
without-
in it. Though, because if you were lying, you'd be like, yeah, there's like a person.
If I'm fighting you and I've never seen you, first things I'm saying, big head, weird mustache, unkempt hair, kind of gangly, pale, big nose, kind of smelled like cottage cheese.
I don't smell like cottage cheese, so throw that testimony out.
But you agree with all the other stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
In the police, they saw such a man near the Sheppard's home around 3:30 to 4 o'clock a.m. on the morning of the murder, which lines up with Marilyn's time of death at around 4:30 a.m.
Just really quickly, I don't know why it didn't occur to me till now. What are Richard and Betty Knitter doing up at 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning? They have the presence of mind while doing that to look out the window.
Maybe they're freaks, man.
It looks like a bushy-haired white form.
Maybe they're like freaks.
Or they're like
Maybe they're
against
like-
the window
Yeah,
and they're like,
yeah,
look
that's
at
what
the
I'm
neighborhood,
saying. Yeah,
look at
yeah,
the neighborhood
yeah,
while
yeah.
we do it. Who's that guy? I don't know. And just right back to sweat time.
Wrinkle, wrinkle, wrinkle. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about sex.
I just know from my own personal experience, when I hear a bump in the night, my immediate reaction is not to go to the
You go,
window.
ooh,
No, what happens is...
phantom has entered my home.
Yeah, that's exactly what I talked exactly like that.
Boop, boop, boop. Hello, is this 911?
And I have a cartoon phone, too.
The devil is here. Send God.
The motive is feminine jealous hatred, sparked to action by some event disturbing to the killer. A jealous killing requires a woman killer. End quote.
Well, everyone knows a jealous killing requires a woman killer.
Everybody knows that. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Trust me, I'm a man.
Yep, drink your coffee. Drink it, go ahead. Oh, you son of a... All right, Leo, let's just get into this.
A local dog had followed them, and when it took off barking, Leslie decided to run ahead of her parents and follow.
First off, you got any guesses what that dog was barking at?
I don't know. I don't like dogs. I was running for exercise, and a rotten Dalmatian jumped right up against a fence and started growling for no reason, just because I was passing. I'm a nice man.
Well, they do hate squirrels. Do you think he thought there was a little bushy squirrel tail on your face?
No, it was dark out. I worry about this. If I ever have kids, them running away, then you see parents with their kids on leashes, and you're like, well, that's wrong.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe put your kids on a leash.
Spent that whole time, didn't even answer the question.
What was the dog barking at?
That was the incredible.
Anything. Dogs bark at
All right,
anything.
that
Dogs-
would have been an
dog
acceptable.
bark at mailman. Dogs bark at a bird in a tree. Dogs bark at
Anything
a
would have
rock
been an
that-
acceptable answer. You'd be a horrible contestant on Family Feud.
In the dunes at Race Point Beach, amongst the scrub pines a mile east of a ranger station, Leslie discovered the decomposing body of a naked woman, approximately 5 feet, 6.5 inches tall, 145 pounds, between 20 and 40 years old, lying on one side of a beach towel, with her head on top of a folded pair of jeans and a blue bandana. It's estimated the body had been lying there anywhere from 10 days to 3 weeks before being discovered. Her head had been crushed on the left side, and she had been almost entirely decapitated. While no weapons were found, it's believed that something akin to a military entrenching tool was used to nearly sever the head. Also noticeably absent from the corpse were the victim's hands, presumably removed to avoid identification via fingerprints.
Well, that's a lot.
I will say that when you look at the details of the crime scene, it would seem that this was done by somebody who wasn't, I guess, like an amateur. Also insane that it had been there for 10 days to 3
It's
weeks.
a long time. The body goes through some stuff.
But even from beyond that, like beyond the state of the body when you find it, 10 days to 3 weeks is a long time for it not to be discovered.
But out there on the dunes, man?
It's wide, it's expansive, though it is only a mile away from the ranger station. It would suggest that maybe the killer is a little bit more ballsy than would let on.
Or they just know that the ranger is a doofus who's not good at their job.
The violent state in which the body was left obviously suggested murder, and with no apparent sign of a struggle.
It's interesting to me that the footprints lasted that long.
Could have also been someone who just stumbled upon the body and was like, you know what?
We run into this a lot,
I don't know
though.
about this.
If you saw a body, would you call it in?
Yes, I would.
You have to, right?
I would.
Yeah.
But I can understand where if, let's say you got a warrant out, maybe you didn't pay your taxes, you stumble upon a body, you don't want to invite any of that. It's probably safer to walk away sometimes.
You do usually paint yourself as suspect number one when you call in something.
Yeah.
Which isn't that fair.
So you stumble upon this body. What's your tone when you tell them?
Hey, how's it going? I just,
Oh, buddy.
Well, you can't sell too much panic in the voice.
How's it going?
I found a body out on the beach. We should probably, you should come out here and pick it up.
Send out the paddy wagon.
Send out your boys. My kids play on this beach.
Oh, I didn't know you had kids in this scenario. Were you lying about that to them? Because that's,
Oh shit, would I be?
you're lying now.
Oh, now they have that on tape.
My kids play on this beach.
And now those cuffs are gonna be on my wrists in probably a day's time.
Yeah.
Shit.
It'd be-
I just got arrested. This is why people don't call it in. I just got arrested.
To stations like the FBI and Interpol. No one came forward recognizing the work.
So they can't identify the victim. They looked at the dental work, which is, I guess, of New York
Some
style.
Big Apple choppers.
As a Chicago guy, you more into deep dish dental.
Did you have that like in your notes app last night? Yeah,
I did.
all right.
Nailed it.
Weird. So no one even in the community is missing. Yeah, we know. You did it. So no. Yep. So yeah. Huh?
It's good.
So no. What? But did she just disappear then?
Yeah, and I think,
So she may be.
I mean, that's mission accomplished for someone
She
who
may be out
escapes
there.
prison. You know?
She actually may be watching this video and hearing me lavish praise upon
This
her.
is the first theory that we've had that has, I guess, a somewhat happy ending. Because
Maybe.
if you escape prison, the goal is to not be caught.
Yeah.
And if we found out the Lady of the Dunes was her, she got got.
Yeah, if
So-
you're watching this episode, don't be tweeting like, that lady's so cool, because then the law's going to remember, like, oh, yeah, she escaped.
Yeah,
They're
that's
going to be
true.
going after her, so just keep quiet about it.
By the way, I have this on my head because my hair's too long and I don't know what to do anymore. So
Sure.
I just tied it up like a little present.
Incredibly respectful. Let's dig in. Oh, you've never... I'm usually the sipper.
We did that in reverse. Should you open the case file?
Feels wrong.
It does. Let me do that. Give me that before you hurt yourself.
Isn't though when it's a skull, because
Isn't-
it's like, well, it's just a funny skeleton. It's a funny bone man.
It was a human's head.
It was.
Now imagine a skeleton with hair coming out of it. How scary that is. You ever think about that? Does hair go through the skull or does
That
it
is-
come from the
nope,
top?
Absolutely not.
How does
Do
it
you
start?
understand anything about science?
I don't.
Or,
How does
oh my-
where does hair start?
Do you think it starts in the brain, Ryan?
Yeah, it starts in the
it grows
brain.
through
It
the
goes
skull.
through the brain. No, but what part of the epidermal layer is it on? Like, is it just like?
I don't know, but it's above the bone.
Then why is it sometimes on the skull?
What are you talking? Because it's connected to the skin that is connected to the
No,
skull.
but the skin is gone. Is what I'm saying. And I've heard that sometimes the hair is stuck into the skull.
That's not true. Does hair grow through the skull?
One of
I did see a video of a sky burial, and I love that, where they put your body out in a field and they kind of chop you up into fillets, and then a bunch of giant vultures come and eat you.
I had a much different image in my head.
Oh, like you
just-
put me in a cannon and
just put-
shoot me at the sun
Just
or
put
something?
you in a plane and just throw you off the plane.
Actually sounds pretty baller, too.
Someone chilling on like a inner tube in their pool, and all of a sudden, just Shane Madej's corpse rains from the
Rockets
sky.
into the ground,
ruins
like
Marge's
God shot me
afternoon.
out of a gun. Zish.
Do you ever think about how weird it is to like? Okay, so you pick up a body, right? You're picking it up when it
What are you
has.
talking
the meat and
about when
the
it
bones.
decomp?
When it's fully a skeleton. How strange that sensation would be to pick up what used to be a body, but now it's just fully bones. It's a full skeleton.
Yeah, but I don't think the skeleton's like...
Do they stay together
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's like a
like a Halloween?
like a Merry Melodies cartoon. Playing the ribs like a xylophone.
Like a xylophone. This episode is called "Ryan Does Not Know a Lot About Human Physiology."
16-year-old Neil Day was riding horses with a friend along Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia.
I didn't want to jump into the story this quickly, but I did want to say it sounds fun to ride horses on the beach with a friend.
I rode a horse one time. I think it was in Hawaii. I had a horse whose nickname was Crazy. That was actually his name. And then he went rogue and then tried to buck me off and ran into a little creek.
What happened to you?
I'd like to think I survived.
Uh-oh. What if I just started fading away right now? What if your world just started dissolving into vapor?
Oh, like I was being hypnotized by Mysterio?
Yeah, you're Bruce Willis at the end of The Sixth Sense, and like it all just. Wait a minute.
It just cuts to a montage of a bunch of times where it's obvious I've been dead.
I suddenly remember all of my bones breaking.
My mother screams.
Your mother was with you?
Yes.
When they
Hey, 100th episode, no rules.
Callback, baby. My mom also said that the scanner thing at the grocery store, she said if I put my fingers on it, it would erase my
Your
fingerprints.
mom's funny as hell.
She once took a wig, put it hanging out of the washing machine, and told me my mom had been abducted and that my real mom was stuck in the washing machine and I could go look for proof. And then she showed me the washing machine and I saw the wig sticking out and I cried.
Your mom's the funniest lady I've ever met.
the name Keen, ending in E, and Keen, ending in N, were found on some of the items. According to an Adelaide newspaper, authorities concluded the name Keen had been left on the belongings to intentionally obscure the man's true identity.
Look, I'm not a spy. I have never
Don't
been.
need to disclaim that.
I'm
Everyone
not a
knows
spy.
that.
Perhaps the easier way to obscure the identity would be to not put any names on anything.
Could you imagine your gangly ass chasing down another spy through a railway
I
station?
could do it.
How ridiculous that would
I
look.
could do it. I'd be like Jaws from
Your
from
feet
the
bounding
Bond
over little children's
films.
heads. That's amazing.
I could do that. I'm very fast.
You fell while walking.
I
And
was
Griffith-
running.
And you also fell while walking.
There was a big rock, and I walked into it.
So
We don't need to
anytime
get
there's
into
any
it.
element that's in the it's your pathway.
For the record, that's the only time I've fallen in my life. How many bones have you broken, dipshit?
0.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, we never broken any bones.
Not, there's also the question as to how he died. At the time, a well-known professor, Sir Cedric Stanton Hicks, proposed that the man had indeed been poisoned, but with an extremely rare variety, which would decompose soon after death. This would of course explain the absence of poison found in the corpse. In court, Hicks refused to say the name of the poisons he was referring to aloud, believing they were too dangerous. Sir Hicks did, however, write 2 types of poison down on paper and gave it to the coroner, digitalis and strophanthine.
Yeah, you're just reading it aloud? All right, we blew it. Never mind. Here's the poison you can use.
Digitalis. He really turned the corner on that one quick.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much all about this video. Press the thumbs up button if this video brought a smile on your face. I'm going to upload more for remaining seasons of true crime, so subscribe now to stay with me on this journey. Also, I've completed this for all of the 6 seasons of Supernatural series, so do consider checking them out. See you soon in another such video. Till then, why not watch these which are on the screen?